What is up, everybody? It's me, Wyatt Wrestling. Today, we're going to talk about what happened this past weekend at Money in the Bank. Um, I got some guests with me today. I'm going to introduce them. First person I'm going to introduce from the Rant and Rave podcast. Please welcome Brandon Martin from Rant and Rave podcast.
Hey, Wyatt. It is great to be on here with you, though, Wyatt.
What's up? What's up, man? How are you?
I am great. How are you, Wyatt?
I'm doing good. Second person I want to introduce is a good friend. His name is DM Wrestling. Dom is here.
What's up?
What's up, Dom?
So,
Third person I'm gonna introduce is she is talented at her creations. Please welcome Haley Wrestling. Hello, Haley. Fourth, I gotta give it to Gooby. What's up, Gooby? The last man I got in the building, the wise man, Kyle Whitaker.
Thank you there, Wyatt. And I am the wise man of It's Real to Us family. I'm glad to be here.
I'm good to see you, everybody. All right, everybody. I do have a slideshow today for the Money in the Bank matches. We're gonna share our thoughts. What happened? Did you guys get your picks right? All that stuff. Um, this is a slideshow. We got the Money in the Bank. Start off with the first match, the women's Money in the Bank. So I'm gonna go round robin. Let's start with the wise man, Kyle Whitaker.
Uh, it was a great match. I didn't not get my pick right. I was either thinking either Rhea or Stephanie Vaquer on this. But I'm glad to see Naomi win this. She does deserve it. She's been in this company for 15 years or so. I'm glad to see her. I'm glad to see her image has changed. But she needed to change, repackaging in the first place. My favorite spot in the match was the Devil's Kiss on the ladder. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. I think it was actually better than the men's match, to be honest with you. And I'm glad to see the NXT girls that came up, like Stephanie and like Julia. I was following them from NXT when I watch it every Tuesday or Wednesday on the next day on the CW app. It was beautiful, beautifully done. I just love every moment of this match.
Totally agree with you, man. Next person. Let's give it to Dom. What's your thoughts on this?
this match is actually really good. I honestly wanted Stephanie to win because I feel like, she just came on the main roster. But I think Naomi winning was a great pick for them. It was a great match, lots of cool things happening. Um, yeah, not much to say, just a really good match. I enjoyed this one. Sorry, my dog's being annoying. But yeah, I'm happy with Naomi winning. And after the show, I know Biggie was talking about how like he's known her for whatever since 2009 or whatever he said, but she's kind of tearing up there. But honestly, great match and great winner overall.
Did you get your pick right? Did you pick Naomi? What
I
was your
picked
pick?
Stephanie honestly,
All
but
right.
didn't happen.
All right. Let's give it to Gooby.
It's funny. I actually made a video on this today. Um, my pick was Naomi, and in my mind, she was the right choice. She better have one, because when you break it all down, she's the only one that really either needs the suitcase, either needs the briefcase, or just should be the one to win. Because Stephanie don't need the win. She already got the win earlier that night at Worlds Collide, and she's already doing. She's big. She don't need it. She doesn't need to be Money in the Bank. Rhea Ripley doesn't need to be Money in the Bank either. She's also got her own things going on, and she's bigger than Money in the Bank at the moment. That's something you can give her down the road as an accolade. Like, there's no reason for her to have the briefcase. Alexa Bliss, um, love Alexa Bliss, but she also doesn't need the briefcase. She just got back. What's the point? What's the point of her holding it? Who is she really going to go after and for what? Um, and it's nice, like he said, it's nice to have the NXT call ups in the match, and that match to me was better than the men's. But those two, Roxanne and Julia, at the same time, they don't need it as well. So, and that's my take on that.
All right. Haley.
So I had Naomi picked. In my opinion, it would have made the most sense to give it to Julia because she's the only one that isn't really caught up in a storyline right now. But like I said, I had Naomi. I'm really glad with how the match turned out. I think she's very wild. Like, she's a very wild persona right now, and I think that's going to work out very well for her.
Okay. Brandon.
I would say why, my pick was correct with Naomi winning it. And it makes sense, though, because when you have that feud you had Jade Cargill in that mix in this one. And even if Jade becomes the champion, Naomi had that opportunity to cash in on Jade and become, once again, the champion once more. But sure, Stephanie Butker had that matchup, though, in the tag match at Worlds Collide with Lola Vice against Chica Tormenta along with Dalise. So I knew that Stephanie wouldn't win on this one. As for Julia, same thing, did not win as well, probably down the line, but having another feud coming up, though, with Zelina Vega going after the Women's United States Championship. So that was her second option to go there. Roxanne, again, maybe the part of Judgment Day as well, knowing some that Liv's going to get jealous of it, in which Alexa did not win the Money in the Bank as well. Does not make sense, but might be joining back the White Six. Who knows? But only time will tell. Rhea Ripley, again, didn't win it as well. So again, down the line for her, like later on in the coming years. So, and that'll be it.
All right. My thoughts. I did not get my pick right. I was going with Roxanne Perez. Because Roxanne's so talented in the ring. She's the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time, and she's joining the Judgment Day, and I thought it would be a good opportunity because Liv Morgan could win back the Women's World Title, and cash it in on her, and then we'll have an imploding of Judgment Day. But I love they gave it to Naomi. I want to see what we're going to do with Naomi for her cash in. Maybe she goes after Tiffany or Jade if she wins the title, but we'll see. We got the next match was the Intercontinental Championship that was added at Worlds Collide. Dominic Mysterio versus Octagon Jr. I'm going to start off with Haley this time to give her thoughts on this.
I had Dominic. It didn't really make sense to me for them to give him the IC title. He's the only title defenses he's had are against luchadors, which makes not a whole lot of sense to me. So I had him to win this match. It was a really good match. It's nice getting to see more luchador style wrestling in WWE. And overall, it was probably one of my favorites from the night. It was just too short.
Yeah. Let's go with Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was added on Worlds Collide, though, for Money in the Bank, though, with the IC title online, with Dirty Dominic Mysterio defending it against Triple A's Octagon Jr. So, knowing, yes, I had Dominic as well, though, I mean, it was just, again, too early for him to drop the title right away, so it would not make sense. And plus, it was a short match, under 5 minutes, close to a 5-minute match, which I knew from the get-go Dom would win that. I mean, hopefully Dom can be a little bit of a longer champion, but only time will tell.
Yeah. Dom, what's your thoughts on the match?
I mean, it was a good match. Definitely short, as everybody else said, but it felt a little rushed, especially since it was like only 5 minutes and it just got added to the card like a few hours for the show. But not my favorite match of the night. I definitely did agree with Dominic retaining. I just didn't think he was gonna lose it this soon, especially. Um, but yeah, my thoughts on that.
All right, Kyle, what's your thoughts on this?
I did have Dom winning too, and it was a short match, but I do enjoy the luchadors, and I do see writing on the wall with the Judgment Day. I think he might even drop it to a fellow Judgment Day a member, probably Finn Balor down the line. We just never know. And I do love seeing, the Lucha, Octagon Jr. I watched his dad back in the day, his Octagon Senior, back in the 90s. I loved it. But short match, yeah, I agree. But I did have Dominic Mysterio winning in this match too.
Okay. Gooby, what's your thoughts?
It was a surprise match for me. As I'm sure for most people, didn't I didn't know about this match happening whatsoever. But I think it's nice for just like a quick promo push type deal. Like it's good for Octagon and it's good for Dominic Mysterio. Definitely another title defense underneath his belt, so there could be more. There could be more reason for him to keep the belt rather than he's just holding it and not defending it, which happens a lot in the Judgment Day. Besides Rhea and Damian, they were always defending their titles, but everybody else, if they had a title, it was more so they're just kind of holding it because WWE doesn't know too much what to do with this title or what to do with the Judgment Day at the moment, so it's kind of stagnant. But it was a good match. I definitely, after seeing it was happening, in my mind, like Dominic has to be the one to win this. I don't see it being any other way. Like if he wins, it's not necessarily burying a AAA star. Really, it's just Dominic won. That's it should be. So that's why I feel about that match.
Okay. Yeah, my thoughts on this match. It was just added to the card. I was excited for this match, but it was short. I picked Dominic because they're not gonna drop him the title right away. But yeah, it was a very short match, and it was an enjoyable match. I love it, and we'll see what's gonna happen with Dominic Mysterio down the road. Our next match was the Women's Intercontinental Championship with Ira Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, and Becky won the title that night. Let's start off with Dom.
This match was good. I didn't really see Becky winning the title, especially I guess how she won it with pulling the tights or whatever of Lyra. And at the end, I was like, I know Lyra's not gonna she's not gonna just sit here and just do this. Like I knew she was gonna at some point while she was doing that, putting the belt on her and raising the belt. I knew she was gonna hit Becky at one point. But good match, honestly. And also, I know we have the Evolution pay-per-view coming up in July, I think. So I wonder if Becky's gonna defend there. And I know on Raw, I think Nikki Bella is returning tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So all of that should be good, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with Becky in the title.
Amazing. Kyle, what's your thoughts on this match?
My thoughts was it was a good match too. I was expecting Lyra to keep it, but I'm not a big fan of Becky. If any of y'all know me in the Road to Us camp, especially Wyatt, my favorite is Bayley. But I was actually expecting for Bayley to come out sometime during the match and ruin the match for Becky, but that didn't happen. But now you can actually say Becky is a Grand Slam champion, if you say so under their rules. But I enjoyed it, and we did see the pull of the tights with Becky, and we might see round 2 at Evolution. That's coming up on July 13th or July 12th. Yeah, I'm all right, July 13th. So, and you might make a best of three series out of these two, or there might be a triple threat when Bailey comes back. We just never know. So I did enjoy it. I just didn't expect Becky to win it right then and there.
Okay. Gooby, what's your thoughts on this?
Um, I knew Becky was gonna win. I knew it wasn't gonna be a clean victory either, just because she's on her heel turn right now. A lot of people say this is the second time. I guess since it's for the title, yeah, it is the second time. It's really their third time. The first time they went at it, it was more of some noble duties and stuff like that. There was, the
Yeah.
handshake and all that good stuff. The second time it happened for the title, that's when she had her heel turn, or what's not. It was after the tag team titles. Once they lost that, that's when the heel turn came. And then,
Mhm.
to me, once they did it for the title, that was the second time. But people consider that to be the first because it was for the title. So when they go at it again, that's gonna be the fourth time to me. So Becky had to win this one just to keep it going. Um, Becky is one of the greats to ever do it. In my mind, she needed to win this title just to give it a little bit more prestige, make it mean a little bit more. Because Lyra can wrestle; she's really good. Her mic work can use some tuning, fine tuning. If you ask me, can use some fine tuning. But it's she can go in the ring, but I don't know. Once she put those wings on, that kind of killed the momentum for me. And I feel like a lot of people, because she looked crazy up there with the wings, just looking like a bird girl, flapping with that title. They had to take it off her and put it on somebody else that can make it look a little bit better. Because I feel like they're trying to make the title make her instead of having her make the title. That's the real problem. So all in all, great match. She can go in the ring. She really she can, but I knew Becky was gonna win that one. That's my thoughts on that.
Wow. Brandon, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, regarding it to their rivalry, though, now with this matchup, though, for the Ice Women's Intercontinental Championship, which I knew Becky would become the new champion, which I figured that was coming, and with her heel tactics and all that, pulling the tights, which I knew that was coming, and become the second woman to become the Women's Intercontinental Champion, which we all know that Lyra became the first ever inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion on the second week of Raw of 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that they're not done yet, but with Bailey still in the mix, even though she did not interfere in this matchup, but which is not the case. However, though, You'll we'll still see Bailey somewhere before Evolution comes around July 13th for Evolution 2, which that I'm looking forward to, which I would say triple threat would be great regarding to that. I would say if they would go for another singles match, but considerably I would consider it a triple threat match. And now I'll do it.
Yeah. Haley, what's your thoughts?
I also had a feeling that Becky Lynch would be winning this one simply because if they made her lose again, it would just look really bad for who she is as a wrestler and who she is as a person to lose to Lyra 3 times in a row. It also makes sense to give it to her because Lyra's had this title for a couple months now, and it is a new title, and it needed a fresh perspective and a fresh person to come onto it to give it a more meaning. Overall, I think it was a really good match. To me, Lyra attacking Becky at the end was very out of character, but I also understand her motivation behind it. So I liked this match, and I thought Becky was going to win. So it was pretty good.
I totally agree. My perspective on this match, I thought Becky was gonna win. She did win, but um, I think maybe at level, I'm agreeing with Brandon over here and everybody else. I think we need to have a triple threat match. Ira Valkyria, Becky Lynch, and Bailey for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think that's going to happen hopefully at Evolution Part 2. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Our fourth match was the men's Money in the Bank. We had LA Knight, Penta, Andrade, Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins, and El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
What's you guys' thoughts? So we'll start off with Brandon on this one.
Well, yes. So regarding to my pick, yes, I did pick LA Knight for the third time would be the charm for him, but unfortunately, not the case. So regarding to some interference in that Money in the Bank, which it's that's we know it's no DQ, which anybody can interfere in that men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which you saw Jacob Fatu in that one with JC Mateo, which I knew Jacob Fatu would say in those words, it's not I love you solo, it's I hate you solo. And then we all knew that was coming, and Jacob was just had enough with solo in this one. But regarding to Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed of all people, knowing which I knew that was from the get go, which and then I knew he had to help Seth Rollins in that matchup, in which I knew he would win Money in the Bank for a second time in his career, knowing he won it back in 2014 and cashing it in, becoming the heist of the century, winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 31. I would say, some people did not like that. It's like, is that 2014 all over again? I mean, well, I would say in this one, some people would not like that. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see what happens down the line with Seth Rollins and the crew of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
Hmm. Kyle, what's your thoughts?
Well, I had a pick and I had a wild card. My pick was LA Knight and my wild card was Andrade. But of course, we didn't see LA Knight or Andrade win, but we seen, of course, the Visionary win the match. My thoughts on the match was very great, and from before, I thought the women's was better than the men's, and we all know Chad Gable, a Grande Americano, used that steel plate in the match, and I thought he did a wonderful job in this match as well. I thought everybody did, from Pentagon to Solo to everybody, even with the interference, even with Jacob screwing over Solo Sikoa. Even if you saw in the match where Michael Cole, I think it was in this match where Michael Cole folded his arms and he didn't like what was going on. And even saw El Grande was sitting there for a minute. You know what I mean? Watching the match, watching his spots. But I loved, enjoyed every minute of Money in the Bank, no matter what. A wrestling fan, you got to enjoy something. You got to enjoy the little things, what everything does. But Seth Rollins, he's the architect for a reason. I think it might be Heist of the Century Part 2. You just never know. We're just going to sit back and wait and see.
Dom, what's your thoughts, man? We'll come back to you.
We'll come back.
Let's go with Haley.
I had El Grande Americano to win this match. He's honestly, in my opinion, I love Seth Rollins and I understand why they gave it to him, but he's already such a big name and he's already built such a big community and world for himself. To me, giving him Money in the Bank, he didn't need it as much as some of the other people in this match. I'm slightly upset that Jacob Fatu decided to turn on Solo during this match because him and JC Mateo versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed is one of my dream matches, simply because I think that the power all four of them have does not compare to anybody else's. I think that they can go far with Seth winning it, and there's a lot of rivalries we can pull into the mix. Overall, I think it was a good match, but I obviously didn't get my pick right.
Okay, let's go back to Dom. Let's see what's his thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I remember mic wasn't working. Anyways, great match again. I the like I guess not really highlight, but like the cool thing in the match was El Grande going up the ladder, like like him like turning the ladder and then climbing up. It was cool. Um, I don't even know if I really picked someone to win this. Honestly, like anyone I was really fine with in the match. I kind of thought Ellen and I could have won it. Seth winning it is like it's fine, not the worst, not the best, but overall good match. I feel like this and this match and the women's match were both like even because they both had a lot of cool things happening in them, especially with Sikoa. Um, sorry, Jacob turning on Sikoa was good, um, and all of that stuff. But yeah, great match again.
Gooby, what's your thoughts on this, man?
Um, in a in a better in a better situation, I would want LA Knight to win. But the way that everything is set up right now, the storylines, I knew he wasn't gonna pull this dub out. It wasn't gonna be for him. It was gonna go to Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins could either challenge Jay like he says he wants, or pull up on Jay and take it from Jay. But also, what I think would be a good spiral to the storyline would be him go after John Cena instead, because he's actually trying to ruin something that Seth Rollins is actually trying to protect and push further into the future. So he says. So honestly, that's the route I would go. Because if tonight he comes out there and cashes in and takes it from Jay, that'd be a little bit cliche. Like, tell me nobody sees that coming. If they actually pull the trigger on that, that'd be kind of whack, So I don't know. But then you really can't do that with John Cena because clearly we're going to do something with Ron Killings and John Cena. Clearly. Like, if we don't, that'd be stupid. That'd be very, very dumb to not capitalize on that. And you capitalize on things back in the day that were more real life, and like Lita and Matt Hardy and Edge and stuff like that. Like, we'll capitalize on that real life stuff, but we won't do it on this. So I really feel like they should pull the trigger on that. I would rather have been LA Knight, but Seth Rollins is the obvious, but still at the end of the day, not a bad choice. Good match, but the women's was better. The women's was way better.
My thoughts on this match. I had LA Knight winning the Megastar. Let me talk to you. I I'm fine with Seth Rollins winning. When Seth was climbing the ladder, I thought Punk was gonna come out there. I thought he was gonna interfere, but no Punk. But I thought could see El Grande unmask. I thought we could see that, but the part of the night I laughed at was Solo Sikoa. He's a comedian out there, and Jacob Fatu was saying, "I hate you, Solo," and it was just perfect. But Seth Rollins, I can see a lot going on to this. Like tonight on Raw, Jey Uso versus Gunther for the world title. Jey is pretty banged up after the match. Maybe we'll see a cash in happen on Raw tonight, but we'll see. The last match we saw of the night, the last time, was now John Cena and Logan Paul versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. I'm going to start off with Haley this time to give her thoughts on this match.
I had Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso winning this match because to me, if you'd given this win to John Cena and Logan Paul, it would disregard their entire tag team run, like Cody and Jay's tag team run together that they've had in the past. And also, John Cena and Logan Paul, their personas as characters in WWE are too cocky to work together in a tag team, which, in my opinion, ultimately led to their downfall when they both just started tagging each other in randomly, and is part of the reason why Cody and Jay ended up getting to win. My favorite part of that match had to have been Logan Paul jumping off that second rope onto Jey Uso, though, simply because it's never been done before, and it made the match a lot more enticing to me, along with Ron Killings coming back, which many fans didn't expect at all.
Yes. Let's get Dom. What's your thoughts on this?
Okay, I just want to say, Haley, that was really good because I definitely agree with all of that. Also, Ron Killings returning is that was so unexpected. No one when the guy in the hoodie came, I kind of knew it was him, but like it was just super duper unexpected. A great match overall. Again, a lot of people don't like Logan for his like personality and what he does, but like him in the ring, it's like actually really good. He's definitely underlooked, and also Jay obviously has a match with Gunther tonight, as everybody said, on Raw, which is like this is gonna be the best Raw in a while. I'm super excited tonight. Everybody has to watch it. But like, is Seth gonna cash in and like win the title? I don't know, because I also feel like Jay Uso has had a few titles this year, and but I feel like a lot of his reigns have been shorter than most. Like he didn't take the title off Braun, and then a few weeks later he lost it. I think to Gunther, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. But I also feel like Jay and Gunther have just had so many matches together, so I'm just confused, like, what's happening with them, because I feel like they've had a million matches together. But again, great match. I obviously picked them to win, and what Haley said too with them both being cocky, I definitely agree with that. And they had some issues in the ring last night, but other than that, or not last night, 2 nights ago, whatever. Other than that, great main event, I guess you could say.
Gooby, what's your thoughts on this match?
I ain't really care that match was gonna happen that night. Honestly, it was the least important match to me, for real. But it was a good match. The we already knew Logan Paul could wrestle. He proved that for the last two 2 years. He's been there like 2 years. We know he can wrestle. That was phenomenal what he did though. Even though that move has been done in WWE, he likes to say it hasn't been done in WWE. It's been done, but has it been done on the table, like the announce table? No. But that move definitely has been done. Like WCW, WWE, that move's been done.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing about that match, Ron Killings came back. And once that happened, I didn't care who won that match at that point. Once he came back, I don't care I don't care how you end this. I honestly don't. None of that mattered to me. Ron Killings was back. And from there, the possibilities are just so endless now, because clearly they chose to take the identity that is R-Truth and kill that. Even though they brought him back, they didn't bring him back as R-Truth. He's back as Ron Killings. So this should be a more serious run for him, rather than, though we all love the comedy. I'm not saying we don't. We all love the comedy. It should be a more serious run for him. That's what I'm expecting them to do with this time. But all in all, good match.
I totally agree with you. Brandon, what's your thoughts, man?
All right. So, sorry about that because the internet was kind of crashing out on me. But nevertheless, though, I would say that, you had John Cena and Logan Paul. I mean, did not do well for its wonders. I mean, I knew they were not going to get along. I mean, doing the blind tag every single time, which I knew it. They weren't going to get along. And then knowing with Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso winning it, which it did make sense, which I know Cody going after what is rightfully his, the undisputed WWE title. Probably get that at SummerSlam, with Cena and Rhodes. With Logan Paul, though, even though he could be a bad person in real life, but as a wrestler, you got to give him credit where credit is due. He has been outstanding as a wrestler, knowing he does a better buckshot lariat than Hangman Adam Page, though. But that's here or there. But I will say, though, with that springboard from the second rope, that through that table, that was amazing. And as everybody said this, you see that black hoodie and all that, which knew it, that was Ron Killings. I mean, I was in complete shock that I did not see that coming. I know everybody else didn't see it coming as well. I was like, when you see Ron Killings, though, instead of R-Truth, Ron Killings could be a serious person looking forward to what is coming for him, and thought he was going to get released and all that, but nope. Thankfully, he is back and looking to get some revenge on Cena. And knowing And as you said, going to back to Jey Uso, that matchup tonight for the world title against Gunther, knowing he's probably not at 100% though, but regarding to what it is, with Seth Rollins might be a potential cash in for tonight, knowing he will be appearing in Phoenix. So, or maybe turned around, maybe Cena will get cashed in by Rollins though, and have Rollins, which I would say it would make perfect sense. So knowing it might be a little swerve around to Cena, rather than sure you want to have Rollins become once again world champion, beating Jey Uso, which I get what they wanted to go with, but I would say the swerve having Rollins cash in on Cena. So that'll do it.
Wise man. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm just going to repeat what everybody said. I had Jay and Cody. I did like the only thing I liked about Logan Paul was the springboard onto the announce table, and it has been done. I seen Shawn Michaels do it back in 2005 at WrestleMania 21 against Kurt Angle onto that announcer table, and he did a perfectly good job. I give Logan credit. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. I hope Wrestling John don't see this. But I did love the match. I knew the bickerness would come to the random tags between John Cena and Logan Paul. And then we saw that infamous black hoodie. And honestly, when I saw the spear, I thought it was our tribal chief until he took the headgear off. And I saw, yes, it is Ron Killings. And I was like, thank God Triple H listened to the WWE universe. Thank you, Hunter, for doing this and bringing Ron Killings back. And I enjoyed the match, like I said, enjoyed everything about it. And going into tonight with Jey Uso not at 100% against the Ring General, we might see the title change. We might not. Of course, we do got Seth Rollins, that Money in the Bank. But I don't see a cash in tonight. We might see a cash in, maybe SummerSlam, or maybe a couple weeks down the road. Or like we all said too, on John Cena. We just gotta see tonight, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. We just gotta see how it goes. We'll find out tonight on Monday Night Raw in Phoenix.
We will find out tonight on Raw, but I want to start off with the win. Cody came out with the entrance, and then we had Jey Uso come out, but then he said run it back, and then we had John Cena come out. But my thoughts, I didn't really care about the main event, but the part Logan Paul's springboard was the best part of the match to me. And then we had the return of Ron Killings. Triple H has listened to us, WWE Universe, that we want truth, and we got him back, and I'm excited to see what is going to happen down the road for John Cena. But I heard John Cena is going to be at Raw tonight. I heard about that. He is going to be here, and I'm excited. We're going to take a time and tell us what our content is, where we can find you all, and what are you guys coming up for this week. We'll start off with Dom. Over here.
I'll have to make 6. I gotta go in a minute, but well, I'll say that in a minute. But one really quick takeaway that I have is from the show tonight is there was a lot of like ads and sponsorships in WWE right now, like the ladder, the tables, like everything. I just feel like it's a little too much. Anyways, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, DM_wrestling_WWE, same username there. And this is a picture right there if you want to see. I'm also on YouTube, same username as well. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Let's get Gooby in here. Where we can find him.
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at HSC Gooby, and on YouTube you can find me at High Standards TV. I want to touch on real quick Triple H. Yeah, he heard us for sure. He heard us. He brought him back, but he tried to play that off as a work, and that was not a work. That's what I don't appreciate. And I love Triple H. He's been my favorite for years, but he tried to play that off as a work, and that was not a work. I don't believe it was a work by far. So that's all I got to say about that. But yeah, High Standards TV. If you put that in on any social media, I'll pop up.
All right, awesome. What's Brandon Martin?
Yes, so regarding to this, as mentioned, for this week, so tonight I will be doing a live reaction for Monday Night Raw. However, going into Thursday, we'll be doing another episode of the Rant Rave Podcast, which, speaking of which, you could go check out Rant Rave Podcast every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here on my channel, or you can basically search up the show, Rant and Rave Podcast, which I know everybody gets mixed up with with the A and D. However, all you have to do is drop the A and the D, and all you got left is the letter N, as in the girl's name Nancy, which you're still saying Rant and Rave Podcast. It is Rant and Rave Podcast. So, and which you can go check it out on social medias, which is at R&R Podcast 19, and you can look in the link tree in the description below.
Awesome. Let's go with Haley Wrestling.
Yeah, so I have two accounts. I have a YouTube, but my YouTube is not like me talking about wrestling. It's just an editing account. It's at Sadie Salvatore 1864. If I'm not mistaken with my numbers, I could be wrong on that. And then I have an Instagram, which is Haley_wrestling, which is basically where I give all of my opinions and thoughts and stuff on wrestling.
Amazing, awesome. And then we have the wise man, Kyle Whitaker.
Well, my YouTube and Wise Man is the same. It's the Wise Man Kyle Whitaker here on Instagram, and it's the Wise Man Kyle Whitaker on YouTube. You can find me there.
Awesome. And for myself, you guys can go check me out on Wyatt Wrestling on Instagram and Wyatt Wrestling on YouTube. This week I have an interview coming up on a new video will be coming up on Wednesday with Ryan Milky Hill. The interview with him, and every Wednesday we'll have a new interview, and I post wrestling content every day on Instagram. So go check me out, guys.
All right, really quick, I gotta get going. So thank you guys for all being here. Thank you to follow us all, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Dom. Thank you, everybody, for joining today stream and talk about Money in the Bank. We will be excited for Night of Champions coming up, June 28th. But I'm gonna play a little music that should have been at Money in the Bank because his mom was at Money in the Bank.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
But yeah, thank you all for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.